Okay, Jack and the Beanstalk. You have Jack and his mother. They're living in a pretty average town, actually a little bit impoverished. It's a poor town. Jack and his mother are pretty much on hard times. So his mother comes in and says, Jack, we're on hard times, but here's what I got. You know Bessie, the cow we have out in the barn, here's what I want you to do. As much as I don't want to do it because Bessie has been the way we've been eating for the last couple of weeks. Bessie's provided milk, cheese, cream. We've been able to sell the cream, milk, and cheese at the market, been able to barter with our neighbors. So getting rid of Bessie is really, honestly, a big sacrifice, but we're doing so bad until if we don't do that, we won't have anything. So I want you to go out and sell Bessie down at the marketplace. Jack says, okay, are you with me? Hello? Okay, good. Look at you. You're on the edge of your seat already. I like that. So Jack says, yeah, I'll go down to the marketplace and sell Bessie. Fine. He walks on his way. Now, Jack is realizing that he's in a major position because his mother's entrusted their entire livelihood to his decision, to his decision-making ability, to his real, true, good judgment. So Jack is feeling kind of important now because he's under a real critical strain, but it's a very important mission. Well, he's on his way, and lo and behold, some guy, somebody he's never met before approaches him and says, look, if you give me your cow, I'll give you these beans. Jack's obviously thinking, come on, man, we're not farmers. We don't want beans. We need money because we got bills due. The mortgage is due. College education funds are due. And, this is what I went to school and got trained for. So certainly I'm not going to give away my security in hopes of having some kind of success with this faithful venture. So he says, no, you don't understand. These beans will change your life. These beans will take you into a place you've never been and introduce you to things that you've never had. So all you have to do is just exercise a little bit of faith, and I promise you it'll change your life. So Jack starts thinking not of himself, but he thinks of his mom. You know what? If they're going to change his life, then it's going to change her life. And if it changes her life, she won't have to work 2 jobs anymore. She won't have to hope and pray that welfare benefits get increased. As a matter of fact, she won't have to live in the same ghetto she's been living in because his life is about to change. He can do something for the family now. So Jack says, yeah, I'll take the beans, not a problem. He comes home ecstatic as hell because he can't believe that fortune has finally come his way. So what ends up happening is he says, Mama, guess what I got? And she says, what, Jack? How much money did you get? $300, $500, $1,000? He says, no, I got something better than that. I got beans. His mother looks at him and figures he's on crack again. She can't really believe that Jack would give away the last thing of value that they had in exchange for these beans. It makes no sense. So Jack says, well, Mom, the guy told me this would take us to a place we've never been and show us things we've never seen. And if we just took his word, we'd be wealthy for life. And we could change our life and get out of the ghetto. And you don't have to work so hard. And we don't have to go to the secondhand shop for clothing. And, we can get off a welfare fund. We can get medical benefits, life insurance. We can send somebody else to college. We can become givers now because, the Bible says it's better to give than to receive. Mom, if our lives change, we can then help those who have less than we do. Mom says, yeah, son, but what you did was screwed up. Now his mom's saying it was more important than it being said. And the reason it was more important is because he believed his mother. He loved his mother. She was one of his closest relatives. Not even a friend, a relative. It was somebody he had looked up to all of his life. Somebody whose opinion he's always respected. And now she's telling him, you're doing wrong. You can't do that. There is no magic beans. What are you, crazy? So she's what we would call a dream stealer in this case. So what happens now is Jack says, well, if you really say that, again, willing to believe his mother, he throws him out the window and says, I'm sorry, I'll go out and get a job. I'll do something. So the next morning he wakes up ready to go out and he looks out his window and lo and behold, there's this new plant in his yard. He doesn't know where it came from, but he looks up and this thing goes way into the clouds. So now Jack doesn't have any idea what it is. Jack has no idea where exactly it ends up. The only thing Jack knows is that there's this thing. There's an opportunity. There's a doorway, a threshold, as it were, There's a new opportunity for me to explore the unknown. So he sits and he looks and he thinks, but what he doesn't know outweighs what he does know. See, Jack doesn't know what's at the end of the stalk. What he does know is what's at the base of the stalk. He knows he's at the ghetto, or the ghetto level. He knows he's in a dump. He knows his mother's broke. He knows he's broke. So the things he's certain of certainly cannot compare to what he's not certain of, what he has no knowledge of. Because who knows, perhaps up this stalk he might find a couple of eggs if nothing else. So Jack decides to climb it because, you know what? That's what you do when you're out of luck. That's what you do when you really have nowhere else to turn. You start taking risk. And it's unfortunate that we always have to get to the risk-taking part before we make a change, but we do. So Jack climbs this stalk, and he has no clue where it's going. And he goes up high enough to see the huge, huge castle in the sky. Now, what does the castle in the sky truly represent? The castle in the sky represents an opportunity of untold pleasure, wealth, and advancement. But it's in a place where people would never expect it or believe it exists, because certainly clouds do not support the weight of a mansion. But Jack, again, believing and having faith, he gets off with a stalk and he walks into the castle. As he's walking into the castle, he sees this beautiful, beautiful dime piece. And he's like, hey, what in the hell are you doing up here? And she goes, well, I live here. Me, the giant, and the goose who lays the golden eggs. And Jack is like, wait a minute, the golden egg laying goose? Are you crazy? The giant? Now, what that really means is that giant represents fear and reason. Because the giant was a realistic individual. He would really kill Jack. He would destroy Jack. As a matter of fact, the giant said, fee, fi, fo, frum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Which means this was a guy who really did not like Englishmen. Now, the thing is, Jack has a goal now. The goose that lays the golden eggs. How his life could change if he had just one or two golden eggs. How many times his mother would have to stop making deals with bill collectors if he had one or two golden eggs. So Jack's mission now, no matter what he has to do, he's coming home with the goose. It's a wrap. He's got to do it. He's got to get it. So now he's going through the castle. The giant's still snoring. The giant's getting up. He's moving. But Jack is still on a mission to find the goose. Finally, he finds the goose. He picks it up. The goose starts to squawk. And when he does, the giant wakes up. The giant looks at Jack. Jack looks at the giant. Jack hauls ass because you know what? Jack realizes now that life itself was becoming intense. That poverty was right around his ankles. That poverty was actually trying to just drown him. So Jack begins to run. He's running for his life now. But the giant's running right behind him. Those bill collectors are still calling. Matter of fact, they're about to give you an eviction letter. You got the 3-day, the 5-day, the 7-day, and the 14-day letter. You're about to be kicked out into the street. Are you going to still believe in your dreams? Or will you actually continue and just do what you have to do to accomplish it? Well, Jack finally makes it to the stalk, and he's climbing down the stalk as fast as he can, because now he's back home. He's straight. He got the goose. He got golden eggs. Come on, a golden egg simply means that it's a life-changing opportunity. It's a life-changing experience or a life-changing result. So now Jack is back down on earth. He got the goose. He's chilling. And then all of a sudden he hears the ruffle of the stalk. Well, what does that mean? That means the giant is coming, which means sometimes challenges follow you until you kill it. Some challenges do not go away. They don't fade away. They don't expire. Some challenges will continue until you kill them. What is a challenge? Now, this is the funniest part. What is truly the biggest challenge of most? Generational poverty. What is the biggest challenge of most? Generational ignorance or denial. So what happens now is Jack is standing and he's looking at this giant coming down the stalk. And what he does is he cuts the stalk down. The stalk falls. The giant falls. Breaks his neck, and Jack cuts his head off. Now remember, this is the same guy who the day prior was going out to the marketplace to sell a cow. But because of his faith in something he had never heard of, something he had never experienced, something he had never even thought of, he's now killing a giant. So now the craziest thing is, the goose comes down, it lays the eggs, they come out of the ghetto, they start living well, and life is good. But now the true moral of the story is, because a thing is unknown, because it's unfamiliar or unheard of, does not mean it is not for you. And that's where destiny, fate, and purpose comes in. If you notice, we don't have a story of John and the beanstalk. We don't have a story of Henry and the beanstalk. And the reason we don't is because they didn't take that chance. We have a story of Jack and the beanstalk because he was one that was willing to try something that had never been tried before. If a person is truly 100% willing to believe that their life has purpose and destiny, they'll also take the beans. Now, their loved ones, their families, their husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, nephews, nieces, aunts, and relatives, and of course your friends, they'll always tell you, no, you can't do that. Come on, you're way too old. Why don't you focus on a real job? Why don't you do this and do that? But yet they'll always watch the Miss America pageant. And the reason they do that is because they don't believe that you can be great. They believe you can meet somebody who can be great. And what I'm suggesting to you is not only can you meet someone who's great, but you can meet someone who brings the greatness out of you so that all can stand back in awe of your greatness. And that's where Dime Piece comes in. Dime Piece is not something, like I said, we're not more so interested in sales. I want to see the people that represent Dime Piece to become the top shelf models of the world. Now, I know that sounds really far-fetched, and I guess this is my set of magical beans. And what I'm asking you to do is find your set of magical beans. Because when you do, you'll have a lot of people that will convince you to throw them away. But because fate and destiny are working hand in hand, the beanstalk will still grow. Once you climb the top, you'll see things that you've never believed in. You'll see things you never even thought of. But when you get there, a little bit more faith will get you into a castle where somebody will tell you that what you've been looking for all your life is here right now. It'll take a little bit more faith for you to grab the golden goose. And the golden goose really represents the transition from where you were and where you're going. The strangest thing is there'll always be a giant in our lives because giants were made to be in our life because only the truly diligent and only the truly qualified deserve the goose. See, if everybody could go get a goose, it wouldn't be special. But because only the righteous, and the just can grab the goose, that's what the giant is there for. He's there to make sure that if you get it, you've earned it. Not that you got it because you wanted it, but because you earned it. And in reality, the key to life is that you get what you earn, always. You don't have to work hard, but you have to earn it. And what I'm saying to you is you are a natural, if you even listen this far, that means you're naturally prepared to grab your golden goose. That means that when you really wake up in the morning, you have a stalk outside of your window. The mere fact that you've done what you've already done for Dime Piece is really commendable. And I'm very impressed. I'm very shocked, actually. Because really, what you've done is you've traded your cow. That was your first trade. And now you got these magic beans in your hand. And again, I don't know where the information's coming from or if it's even coming from within yourself. Because from time to time, we tell ourselves to throw the beans away. And what ends up happening, if you pay just a little bit closer attention, you will see that the stalk is starting to grow around you. You will see your mind absorbing and identifying that stalk and getting ready to jump out of the window and climb it. Jack didn't jump out the window because he was pushed. He jumped out the window because something in his mind told him to climb. Something in his mind told him there'd be something better for him on the other side of the stalk. And what I'm saying to you is if you just take the principles, you take the teaching, you really, truly, 1,000,000% take the faith and find your degree of faith. You too will get a golden goose, a golden egg-laying goose. And this goose will be yours because you've earned it. You fought the giant and won. You killed him. You killed the naysayers. You killed the dream stealers. You killed the fear that told you that maybe this won't work out, as many other things may not have worked out. Don't think of it that way. Think of the things in your life that has worked out. For example, I'm sure you can tie your shoes, and there was a day you didn't think you could. You didn't think you'd ever be able to tie shoes, but guess what? You can tie them now, and the reason is because you exercise enough faith to practice. And that's all I'm saying to you now. If you practice being great, you will become great, and by being great, you will become the greatest model in this country. So, I just want you to know that for real, your golden goose is waiting on you. It won't come to you, but it is waiting for you to come to it. And when you get it, it will come with you.